And this is Puria. Yesterday I just bought your book, and well, I started reading it, and today I actually finished the book. Yeah, it was a good read. It definitely were, a lot of positive points in it. I mean, stuff I happen not to have read elsewhere. I mean, there were definitely some stuff which really surprised me, but it inspired me a great deal, and I'm forever thankful that I actually bought your book. I mean, well, to start with, I just have to tell you a little bit about myself in order for you to be able to, be of any help to me. First, you have to know my situation. Well, I'm called Puria, and my family name is Samar Basadeh. I'm from Iran. I'm 28 years old, and well, I would like to first talk about my background in English. I'm not a native English speaker, but when I was 3 years old, my dad enrolled in a doctoral program in England, so the whole family moved to England. And like I said, I was 3 at the time, so when you're under the age of 7 or 6, you have a good knack for, getting new languages. I mean, same thing happened to me. After a month or two, I found myself understanding the stuff I heard on TV because, I was a kid and I loved watching TV. And so I think there is a specific term for it. I think they call it language acquisition. Like, you don't necessarily study a language in order to get it. I mean, when you're really, young and have a lot of talent for language. And so this was the way I actually started, getting English, or sort of picking up on English. And well, the thing is, after a year, I entered school, elementary school, and I stayed in school for about 2 or 2.5 years. After that, we returned back to Iran, and well, in Iran, I did work on my English, mainly in practical ways, like, watching movies and TV shows, and also reading pieces of English literature. I personally happen to be a great deal fond of reading novels. I've read tons of them, like Oliver Twist, Jane Eyre, Treasure Island, The Chronicles of Narnia. The list goes on and on. I mean, reading novels is one of the great pleasures I have in life, yeah. And the thing is, I mean, reading novels has really, really affected my general English as well. I mean, when you're, reading extensively, you don't have any idea, but you're working on your language skills. But, well, the truth of the matter is, you're subconsciously working on your English. And that is what's happened to me. I have worked on academic skills like writing and, upper stuff through, IELTS and TOEFL books. But the majority of the time, I've been working on my English in practical manners. And a couple of years ago, I enrolled in a teacher training program. It was 40 hours long. And afterwards, I was a soldier at the time, but the thing is, they let us go in the afternoon. So, I just, started searching for a teaching position. I didn't really care about the pay because I knew I was a soldier, and some days I would definitely have to cancel classes. And here in Iran, they have a no tolerance policy when it comes to canceling sessions. I mean, it's like, doing military services. You're not, supposed to get sick at all during the period you're teaching the class. And, well, I went to numerous institutes. Finally, I found a job with, some famous institute. I started working there in the afternoons when I had some time off, and when I was not in the base. And, well, I taught a couple of classes. I taught the Top Notch series. Yeah, I mean, mainly to adults. And, well, the thing is, and, the very first institution I was working at, I mean, they were not really honest and decent people. I mean, they expected me to work for them but not get paid at all. I mean, that was their policy towards, all of their teachers. For that reason, I just, got tired of working there. I was not getting, paid at all, and they treated me like crap as well. So I thought, why bother staying at this institute? I can easily go to some other institute and start working there. I mean, the payment might not be great, but still, at least we're going to treat me like a fellow human being. So I went to some other institute, and overall I worked for like around 300 hours. I mean, that is all the experience I've got, and unfortunately I don't have any proof. I mean, I know the first institute I worked at would definitely not give me a letter of recommendation. I mean, but it doesn't matter because I learned a lot. I learned a lot during the time I was there. And the second one, I think we're going to be able to, give me a letter of recommendation. I know in your book you said but you always have to get a letter of recommendation. I know this is something that I personally have overlooked, but still I think I could get my hands on, some documents. I think I'm going to be able to pull some strings. Well, that is my experience as far as teaching is concerned. I've taught some, aside from, the Top Notch series, I've taught, some book called World English, also some side books like Strategic Reading and, some other books. I've also taught Connect 4. This is a book geared towards, younger learners like teenagers and, that age group. And let me see. Yeah, these are mainly the books I've taught. I've also taught, some American English file as well. Not too much, but, in some cases. So I do have some experience teaching English, and the truth of the matter is, when people see me teach, they say, wow, you have a lot of experience for teaching. Like, it's as if you've been born a teacher. It's in your blood, stuff like that. Once I was teaching at some institute, and someone came in order to observe me and see. After the session, we had a meeting, and he said, wow, I mean, he didn't say this exactly to me, he told this to the manager. He said, wow, it's as if Priya already possesses a SOTA degree. This meant a lot to me, because the thing is, I've always been interested in, pursuing, getting a SOTA degree, but the thing is, in Iran, the average, the thing is, the life, quality is quite low. I mean, people, for me to afford, something around $2,000 is quite great. I mean, in most institutions, I think that is, how much a SOTA is. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's, lower, maybe it's $1,500. But the thing is, they don't offer the course in my country because of, the sanctions. So I'll have to do it abroad, and I simply can't afford it. I mean, the quality of life is quite low here. I mean, the best I've been paid, in teaching-wise has been like, I don't know, let's see, $70 per month, I think. And that was the best I was able to get. I mean, so for me, it's going to be really hard to, save up enough in order to afford a course like the Cambridge SOTA or the Trinity Sir TESOL course. I mean, believe me, if I had enough money, I would definitely go for it. But I'm just saying, right now, I don't have enough savings in order to afford to take part in any of these courses. So, I mean, I think it would take me 10 years in order to be able to save up enough for such courses. I mean, that's the case in a country like Iran. We have low standards of living. I mean, we're not poor. Obviously, things are cheaper compared to, Western countries, but still, people get paid lower, amounts of cash as well. But, now about my experience. Now I should start talking about why I'm interested in teaching abroad. Ever since I enrolled in, the TTC program, I started, fantasizing about teaching abroad. It became something I had to do. I mean, years later, I still find myself thinking about it. And the thing is, I personally do enjoy teaching as well. I mean, it's not just for, traveling. I mean, definitely you're gonna get the benefit of, knowing a new culture, having the opportunity of learning a new language when you move abroad. But the thing is, I personally do enjoy teaching as well. And I would love to have, students from other nationalities like Chinese or Japanese or, Vietnamese students. I mean, so yeah, this is something, the whole cultural experience is something that really motivates me. And I personally believe I've got what it takes in order to be a good teacher, either abroad or here in my home country. So, let me talk a little bit about what I want you to help me with. First, like I said, I don't hold a passport from an English-speaking country, so I know my situation is harder than a native English speaker. I totally understand that. I understand the challenge. I do like challenges though, so I just, view it as a, something which I could, conquer. If I happen to, handle the situation and get a good, teaching job abroad, I'll be able to inspire others the same way other non-native speakers have been able to inspire me. I mean, there are some success stories out there on the internet. If have the privilege of reading or some of them, or watch videos from such people, and I know this is possible. I've seen non-native speakers who've been able to teach in Japan, especially Japan, because I think Japan is a bit more friendly towards non-natives compared to countries like South Korea. I've heard that it's impossible to get a job in South Korea if you're not a native English speaker. If you don't hold a passport from a native English speaking country, it's against the law apparently. But in Japan, that's not the case. As a matter of fact, the fact that you have to be a native English speaker is something which has been advertised mainly by dispatch companies like Interact or Otia or Aeon or something like that. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. Those companies, they actually have it in the requirements that you have to be a native English speaker. I don't know if that's a strict rule, and if we're gonna be open to someone like me. But the thing is, I'm already clear on that parts. Like, I know it's gonna be harder for me, but it's still something I want. So these are the regions I'm interested in. I'm definitely into Japan, because ever since I was a little boy, I always dreamed of one day going to Japan. I mean, to me, it's not about simply teaching English. It's about experiencing Japan. I'm so fond of Japan, I even attempted to learn the language before. Unfortunately, at the time, I was busy with, some personal matters, so I wasn't capable of, sticking with my studies. But, I just know a sentence or two in Japanese, but learning Japanese is definitely something I would want to do in the near future. And, I'm interested in other, Asian countries as well, like China, Vietnam, Thailand, but I understand, I mean, maybe getting a job in these regions might be hard. I understand, but I still believe it's doable. But like, for instance, in Japan, if you happen to be inside Japan, you're much more likely to get a job. But this is not the way I want to do it because I simply can't afford it. I mean, I can't afford like living a month or two in a city like, I don't know, Tokyo, Osaka, because I simply can't afford it. But I've heard, like, I mean, in South America, we're more open to non-native speakers, like in Mexico or, I don't know, Peru. I think they are much more friendly towards, much more open towards non-native speakers. It's not, an absolute necessity to hold a passport from an English-speaking country, but, well, I don't really have that much information concerning those areas. I understand the money might not be great in those regions. The pay might not be, comparable to that in Asian regions. But the thing is, that is, a region I'm interested in. I would definitely want to do, the whole teaching thing in Latin America simply because I'm interested in their culture. May not be the very first, region I go for, but we're definitely gonna be a region I would look out for. So, let me see. So, the thing is, I cannot, first move to a country and, search for a job. I'll have to do it overseas from my country. So, aside from that, let me see. Well, I do have some experience, and I think I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, provide any documents, but, well, I might be able to do that. I mean, these are stuff I actually have to, take care of. But what I want from, the whole support is, I'm not, looking for, finding a job and stealing a deal in 6 months. What I want to learn within the 6 months which are to come is to be able to learn the process. That's what I'm after. I don't want to get a good job. I want to learn the process of, searching and finding good jobs and having a chance at, getting a job. Like, in the past, I've done, job search before, and the moment they understand, I'm not a native English speaker, I just spent 3 years in England, they, recruiters get discouraged. They say, based on the stuff you said, we don't really think you're suitable, stuff like that. So there are a great deal of strategies that, wrong strategies I've actually incorporated in the past. I would love to, work on my strategies, and, the one thing I really, enjoyed in your book was the whole mentality of bombarding, resumes. Like, if you apply to a couple institutes, like I've done in the past, chances are you're not going to get noticed. I mean, we're just going to say no to you. If you, apply to 100 institutes and schools in 1 month, chances are 5 or 6 of them are gonna, reply back to you. That is quite an achievement in 1 month. So imagine what would happen if one keeps doing it for, 6 months. So what I really want to do is to learn how to deal with, teaching English as a business. I learned a lot, from, reading your book. I mean, for the bad parts were stuff I personally have done in the past. I haven't gone into the good parts, but this is something I will be able to reach. Like you said, I mean, you have to have a, sort of positive can-do attitude towards stuff in your videos, and they inspire me a lot. Whenever I watch your videos, they inspire me like crazy. So, yeah. I first want to be able to understand how to handle the whole, finding jobs in the TEFL market, good jobs, not crappy jobs, because if you get a crappy job, soon you're gonna get tired, and the whole teaching thing becomes a burden, something which should never ever happen, because like your students are looking up to you as a teacher, and it just becomes really a pain when you're in a situation where you're not going to be paid, and there is literally no respect shown towards you from your employer, and still you have to show up at the class. You feel like it's really impossible for you to teach, and I believe in these kinds of situations, both the teacher and the students are the ones who are gonna we're gonna lose. The recruiter is not really gonna, lose at all, because we're gonna, get enough for teacher, but the students and the teacher are the main people who are, we're already sacrificing their time, and we're not getting anything in return. That's quite sad. So I don't want to be in such situations, especially abroad. So I'm only looking for jobs which are, stuff which jobs which are, of benefit to me. Like you said, you have to treat your, teaching as a business. And yeah, I want to be able to start from right now. Up until now, I haven't been really successful, but the thing is, I don't think any person is really that successful in the very beginning, because they don't have experience, and, I've had, a lot of bad stuff happen to me. These stuff have actually educated me in order to avoid, similar circumstances. The first 2 or 3 times it was, I was sort of dumb, and I had no experience, but after a while I was successfully capable of avoiding similar circumstances. So yeah, I learned pretty good stuff in the end. So yeah, I know it's taken like more than 20 minutes. I've been talking for more than 20 minutes, but I hope you watch this video. Unfortunately, I didn't organize the material that much. I just, talked. Yeah, one of the reasons I just talked was for you to be able to observe my speaking abilities, and to see for yourself, what my level is. I know, most people would, sort of judge me since I'm not a native English speaker, but, the truth of the matter is, I treat myself like a native English speaker. I know I'm not comparable to someone like you or any other, person who has grown up in, like the U.S. or any other English-speaking country, but, once one of my friends told me, treat yourself like a native English speaker. You're obviously good enough, as far as general English proficiency is concerned. Just treat yourself like one. And the moment I started doing that, I felt much better and more comfortable with English. So, and the other thing is, I actually forgot to say this. I once checked with my, elementary school in English, and they said, but since you attended our school 20 years ago, we're not capable of giving you any documents that prove that you've, lived in England. They only held on to documents for 10 years, so mine was, gone, and, I'm not capable of, proving that I spent time in England, but, the thing is, in my home country, whenever I meet some people and people say, like, this guy knows English, and I start speaking, if, for people who have, experience, living abroad, they instantaneously say, have you spent a couple of years abroad in an English-speaking country? Because you sound like native English speakers. So, yeah, that is, quite a compliment. Yeah. Well, that was just it. Thanks for your time, and I hope to, hear from you pretty soon. Yeah. Thanks. Take care. Bye.